Oh, hello, beautiful people. It's your girl, Davi L. Welcome back. I so appreciate you being here. It's giving Cancer vibes, okay? And I know that sounds so wrong, but we're talking about the Zodiac sign Cancer, okay? You're gonna see cat whiskers because my cat insists on being with me. And ironically enough, we're talking about the zodiac sign Cancer, which is so many things. Oh my gosh, I have so much to tell y'all, truly. But I was recording a bunch of videos before this, and right before Cancer season, I felt the need to change my outfit and get more cozy. I got a little popcorn on my shirt because I actually had to have some popcorn and just relax myself, which is so Cancer vibes. Oh my gosh. Ugh, I hate that Cancer in the zodiac sign Cancer is a thing. Wow. All right, Spotty. Spotty loves the spotlight. All right. Let's get out the way, okay? But yeah, two disclaimers that I do my best to say each and every time I record these videos. One, I am a very intuitive astrologer. So what you hear today is going to be off the dome. After meditating, connecting, I am going to speak. Of course, I've studied astrology 6+ years. However, I'm going to talk and get deep with you all from a very intuitive, this is what I feel I need to say. It's not, these are the things online and what everyone's talking about and how everyone talks about it. And it could also sound very similar to what you've heard. I really don't know. But it's intuitive. I flow. I storytell. It's a vibe. Catch a vibe. Especially when we're talking about Cancer. Cancer is about emotional connection and all of that. So let's really dive in. But just keep that in mind. And the second thing is we have all 12 zodiac signs within our birth chart. So I don't care if you think Cancer season doesn't matter to you or you don't have it in your sun, moon, or rising, so it doesn't matter. We have all 12 zodiac signs within our birth chart. They all matter and they all impact us. So I'm going one by one, talking about each and every one of them. However, today is Cancer. And I've already recorded Aries, Taurus, I recorded Aquarius, Pisces. So definitely check all those videos out because they all have something different, of course. And tap in. And of course, while we're talking about emotional things and all that, my cat has to be here. So like I said, you will see her. I hope she does not make a mess because I have my phone stacked up on some books right now. So we're gonna make it work, but all good. Anyway, so yeah, without further ado, I think that those are my two disclaimers, right? Yeah, so we have all 12 signs. So I'm going to talk about Cancer and the energy that we hold when it comes to Cancer, because we all have the characteristics of Cancer, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, all that. So, Cancer. Very, very important, intuitive, emotionally connected energy. I mean, wow, like so important for us all to understand where the Cancer characteristics live in us and to really tap in. It's so important to master this energy. Zodiac sign Cancer also really connects to the moon. Moon is about emotions. It's about really tapping into what you need, the things that you need in this lifetime versus want. And it's just like emotional connection, emotional fulfillment, feeling seen, feeling wanted, all that, feeling heard. That is truly what the sign Cancer has to say. And I keep wanting to be like Cancer. I love talking about zodiac signs, but because Cancer is such a sad topic, like the actual Cancer, what people go through and they have Cancer within them, and then I'm talking about the characteristics Cancers within you, is so trippy. But do you see how society and the world understand exactly what it is? It's like Cancer has a lot to do with your emotional health. And this may be a controversial thing to say, but it's the truth. It's about your emotions. And when emotions remain pent up and not dealt with or seen or understood and valued, things can happen in your body and you can form certain Cancers, true actual Cancers within your body. And so I'll be mindful of how I talk about it, but we know we're talking about zodiac sign and astrology right now. But it's just ironic how something so toxic is called Cancer, and yet the zodiac sign Cancer has so much to do with facing the toxic thoughts, the toxic emotions that keep us from emotional well-being, And so Cancer is this sign that really focuses on understanding what it is that this lifetime can connect us to that actually feels fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can hear that, oh, going to this party or doing this thing or connecting with this person will really get you in the door and all this stuff. But in reality, what really makes you happy and truly, genuinely aligned and grateful for life is to lay out on the beach and relax and to meet people in passing. You know, it doesn't have to be about the glitz and the glam when it comes to Cancer energy. And we all have this within us. I don't care if you think you are so unemotional and so callous and mean. I promise we all have Cancer in us. If you're not sensitive about humans, maybe you're sensitive about animals, okay? Like, there's so many areas that Cancer affects, and I know that the good parts of it is that we get to actually connect. Like, without these characteristics, we wouldn't be able to really get deep with one another. We would avoid it so much. So this area, think of the areas where you actually want to vent from a vulnerable place and not just, that was so annoying, oh my God, that's gossip, that's like Gemini energy, you know, but truly from a place of like, this is how I feel and this is how I'm affected, is so important to the sign of Cancer. And the sad part is a lot of people with prominent Cancer energy, so planets affecting their Cancer sign in their chart, or having multiple planets in that area, or having it in a very prominent place like the sun and the moon and all that, Mars even, you know, that can feel tough because you have a duty to really know yourself. And a lot of people don't know themselves. We don't know them ourselves. We're getting to know ourselves. We may think like, oh, my parent did what they could and I'm really happy with the way I grew up. I had everything I needed and they really took care of me. But in reality, there is something missing. And so now you go throughout your life thinking, yeah, all I need are gifts and stuff. But in reality, you wish you were hugged more. And it doesn't mean that you had a bad parent. It doesn't mean they grew up horribly. It doesn't mean it's such a sob story for you. No, it just means now you grew up not liking hugs. But in reality, you crave it so much that you crave it so much that you've created a distaste for hugging and intimacy. But it's something that you actually really want, but you didn't get it as a child. And so now you grow up ignoring it or not feeling like you should connect. And instead, you just want to shake hands. You know, like that's where Cancer energy comes in and helps you to get to know yourself. And because it connects with the moon, that is a feminine energy, which means mother wound is very prominent and big. Oh my gosh, I have to do a video about mother wounds because that is so important. It's such a deep topic that many people are talking about these days, I'm sure, but I do have a lot of perspective to share. But yeah, Cancer connects to the way that you were nurtured. How do you nurture yourself? And how did you want to be nurtured as a child or growing up that you didn't receive? And how has that affected you? And being so honest and vulnerable and real and raw about that is so important, because then you can understand how you give love too, and how you've learned to give it, and how you want to edit the way that you've learned to give love, nurturing, care. And so that's so important. A lot of times, if you aren't connected to that side of you, you will look at outside things to fulfill you. It's almost like if you love hugs, but you didn't get hugs, it sounds so simple, but you may be somebody that makes sure they always wear hoodies in their house because that's a form of a hug, and that helps to really take care of that area of your life. Do you know what I mean? It's like leaning on people to show up how your mother didn't show up. And so there's a requirement that you have on people that you don't even realize you have, because it was missing in your life, and you're actually frustrated, but the frustration is sadness and emotion that's hitting you because you just crave it deeply. You've watched someone else have it, maybe even in your household, and you didn't receive it. You know, it's things like that. For me, Cancer is so prominent and strong in my chart, and I'm a deeply emotional person. And I think that's something that I've had to learn to navigate, because it did show up as anger for a while, or it did show up as frustration or quiet and muting myself. And I had to realize that my mother wounds were kicking my booty. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was deep, very deep. And I had to learn what I need, and I had to learn who I am truly. And till this day, there's even like affection that can be weird for me, maybe with a man, but with a woman, I don't understand it because I wasn't so connected and affectionate with my mother. We had a strained relationship, for example. And so that is something to be very mindful of. What is your relationship with the mother figure? If you didn't have a mom, did you have a grandma? Did you have an adoptive parent that was the mother figure, you know, or a father that did nurture you, so you did or didn't have a mother, a feminine energy, you know, how it affected you, and how moving forward do you still look for that in people and you don't even know you're looking for it. You know, like for example, I had an ex-fiance that really, really, really wanted me to show up very nurturing. And the challenge with it was we were just starting to date. We were like 4 months in, and he required at some points for me to cook and clean more, and when I visit him at his apartment, and mind you, I love cooking and cleaning, but it was this thing where he felt I needed to do it and would talk about it very like loudly. And I was just like, wow, this is a lot. And, you know, he was getting ready for work, and he would want me to wake up at 5 a.m. with him, even though I'm waking up a little later, to make him breakfast. And it was this thing where if I walked into the house and I didn't give him the attention that he wanted, he would show his distaste for it. You know, like there were things he was doing. It's now, as I'm reflecting, I'm just like, oh, okay, there's deep mother wounds with that man. And I had compassion, as much compassion as I could, until I was just like, oh, I can't do this. But I had to sit through something that I understood wasn't right, but I understood he was also going through things. And he would voice it to me later on, like, yeah, you know, me and my mom, this, that, and the third. When I met his mother, I understood, okay, he doesn't get nurtured. However, to require something of me and not let it be something that naturally unfolds with the both of us, and to let me naturally, or to have good conversations and not make me feel forced to do something or like it's a requirement. I made like a spaghetti one day. It was like whole wheat spaghetti, and it kind of like didn't come out the best and how I wanted it to come out. He was like, oh, you want me to put a ring on it, but you can't make spaghetti the right way. Like, excuse me, I don't have to cook for you. I wanted to cook for you, and that's how you talk to me. You know, I was dealing with someone like that. I was one day when we ended the relationship. Oh no, before we ended the relationship, sorry. Like when I was getting really close to feeling fed up, before the cheating and all that stuff even was known really. He one day called me and he was cussing my ass out. When I tell you, he was so loud on that phone that I had to put it on like speaker to let my sister hear how he was talking to me. He was like, you do nothing for me, like who are you, like talking so down on me. And I was just sitting there just calm, because I already came out of a very verbally, and I was physically, there was just so much with my past relationship. To be here with a man that's way older than me, I didn't like that. And I felt my emotions feeling neglected and all that. And there was just so much happening. And he was just cussing me out. Even my sister's mouth dropped. And at the end of him talking so crazy to me, I was just like, why are you talking to me like this? Like, are you okay? What is your problem? Well, it's just you do nothing and you're there. Like, cussing me out. I was shook. So that's something I don't even talk about much when I talk about my ex-fiance. Like, people don't know the half of it, you know, but I did my best to stick it out. But it's very mean, very like picking arguments. And he was a sun sign Cancer. So he openly showed how frustrated he was when he wasn't nurtured the way that he needed to be nurtured, versus actually articulating it and having a calm conversation, or feeling like safe enough to be vulnerable with me. Instead, it was demands. It was like making snarky comments, trying to make me feel less than. And it's like, we could just have a productive conversation and we can get there, but you don't have to. I think I feel a kernel coming in. All right, yeah, it's good. But we could have a productive conversation, but to berate me or make me feel less than right now is not going to help. Now, I'm not doing it from a place of love, you know, but because he was giving me all the gifts, expensive stuff, you know. And even my ex, before, the on and off again person I was with for 6 years, I mean, geez, there's a lot of bickering and raw, but this man wanted love. If I said his rice was, didn't come out as great, because he would ask me like, so why did it come out? Da, da, da. And he knows it's mushy. So I was like, it was a little mushy, but it's good. He stormed off, didn't want to talk to me. It's like emotions are a real thing, whether you're a woman or a man. And I'm not going to make fun of you for it. I'm not going to make you feel less than. We all shouldn't make each other feel less than, but there's a way to get to know yourself. And maybe after doing that, fine, let your emotions show, but then after, reflect. It's so important with our Cancer characteristics to reflect on our emotions. It's not just validate, like, well, you said my rice was bad, so I had to treat you like that. It's like, okay, in that moment, that's how I felt it was best to handle that. But now that I'm reflecting, it wasn't right. I shouldn't have stormed off like that on you. And so I'm sorry. I'll work on that. I just, as a kid, people always, I don't know what it was with him. He just was like that. But I think if he was, as a kid, people never appreciated when I cooked for them. So that just triggered me. Being aware of your triggers is so important when it comes to Cancer. All things Cancer, even the toxic cancer in people's bodies. It's like there's something triggering that Cancer. There's something, if it's a heart, something with your heart, something with your lungs. There's something about speaking that you're not letting out. And like I said, this is controversial, but this is my intuitive perspective. But there's something. It doesn't mean it's not real. It is real. It's just also calling for you to maybe take a step, right? It's a theory. However, it's just your body is speaking to you. A lot of times our heart get heavy while we're talking to certain people, doing certain things. That's the Cancer characteristics coming out. Like, yo, there's something here. There's something you're uncomfortable with. There's something you feel awkward about. There's something that is frustrating you, annoying you, upsetting you, get to know that, and don't just mush it away or turn it into anger. It's quick to go from Cancer energy and characteristics to Aries, raw, fiery energy. Like, fine, do it if you have to, but then reflect, because Cancer is a water sign. A lot of emotion comes from the Cancer sign. Okay, so keeping that in mind is so important. But when you're tapped in, oh my goodness, the best, most deepest, vulnerable conversations can be had. Like, that is where you can really get to know your heart space, get to know why you do the things that you do, get to know how you can control your temper, control your anger, control your urges to do certain things, to mute your emotions. Like, I want hugs, so I'm going to just have sex with any and everyone so that I can get as many hugs as I can. It's like being so honest with yourself helps you to get to know yourself. And the next time you do decide to have sex, maybe it's going to be with that same person that gives you the comfort and the love that you want, need, and deserve, because you're so real with yourself. A lot of times the muted energy can actually come from a lot of masculine energy, because they don't feel like they can express themselves. Now in this day and age, a lot of masculine energies are really starting to feel the need to speak up, say what they need to say, and express. So that's been really nice. However, there's the doorbell just rang. I am not going downstairs. Someone gonna have to get that. See, I'm cozy, I'm comfy, I'm not moving. You know what I mean? Cancer energy. It's like you're tapped into what you need. Right now, I need to do this video with my feet kicked up. You can't see it, but my feet kicked up, with my cat laying down now, sleeping, relaxing. You know what I mean? Anyway, but yeah, so important. But when you are tapped in, Cancer energy can really provide for a household, can really know what a household needs to be a safe space, a nice home. Candles are so important, whether male, female, whatever gender you are. Like, candles are important. Candles are just this serenity, this peace it brings in your house, the scent. It's just all of the feels. All of the nurturing. I should have lit a candle before I did this. It's just a beautiful energy to tap into. No matter how manly, macho, or as a woman, how feisty, fiery you are, you have feelings. Your feelings get hurt. So be honest with yourself. Even me with that relationship, or those relationships, I could have and would at one point just be like, he's so this, he's so that, rah, rah, rah. But I also had to have a vulnerable moment with my sister one day and be like, I can't do this. Like, he's providing. I got luxury, everything. I'm talking Louboutins. I'm talking Mac this, Mac that, makeup, all the good brand makeup. A really expensive perfume, one of them Bond perfumes. I don't know them names. All the things you could think of. I had a few Louboutins. I had just so many nice stuff. And I also felt like my emotions weren't seen in that relationship. If anything, I was being forced to see someone else's someone else's emotions. And that's kind of how I grew up, actually. My mother's emotions would always overpower mine. And so I muted mine. And I ended up becoming very angry and I couldn't articulate myself. I would sit there and I'd be the person that would cry openly, but I wouldn't explain myself. And so now I can't connect with people properly because I feel so deeply, but then I bottle it up and hold it in. You know, I care so much about people. And so a lot of individuals go through this. A lot of people can sense that something's off and can feel the energies in their body. Like, whew, it's so important to connect with your mind, body, soul in that Cancer energy. It's like, yes, stay in your room, be a homebody, do what you have to do, provide for your family, but make sure you're doing it from an uplifting place. Like, you can clean the house, cook, and do all this stuff, but it's from a place of anger. And so now you're gaining resentment for your family, even as a mother. If you have kids, you know, like, you can start to resent the idea of having to, you know, do this and show up and be this and be that. And so tapping in and being like, oh, I need a break. Well, I can't, and that's not realistic, and that's not this, and that's not that. But the break can be, you know, going to a cute little kid's place and letting them play just for a second, just so you have 5 minutes of a moment. You know what I mean? This is examples, right? Look, do you, but these are just truly examples. It's like being so in tune with what you need is so important. Articulating that to your partner, to the people that you have around you is so important. You know, for a while for me, I would just feel like people didn't care about my feelings, but I had to check myself and be like, I don't know that I'm articulating my feelings well enough, you know, and I need to work on that. And that may not be the case for you, but it could be the case for you. Are you articulating? Because I felt frustration before I felt say what I need to say. Or it's this intellectual conversation of, this is what you're doing and we need to be better. And it's just like, okay, you can talk someone's ear off, but it's not until that vulnerability comes out that someone can maybe understand or click. You know, it doesn't mean just cry and sob, do that, but getting to know what it is that you really need. You know, sometimes, for example, one thing I've made my sister and a bunch of people, when I used to have clients that I would coach, I would have them tell the story. So like, yeah, this person did that. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. And I said, okay, I hear you. Understood. Do me a favor, repeat the story, but I want you to come from a heart space. Hold your heart, calm down. The minute you get hyped, take a moment, don't speak. Calmly express to me what happened and how it truly affected you. Because sometimes when you say how it made me feel, it made me mad, it made me this. How did it affect your body, your emotions, your feelings? Like, calm yourself down so that you can get to the root. Yes, that person over there is so annoying, but why does it annoy you so much? Does it remind you of someone that has hurt you before? Does it remind you of something that you just don't care to be around? Like, what is it? Or are they just annoying and that's it? Okay, fine. So that means that you're not in tune and connected to that Cancer vibe. That zodiac sign is so important. The characteristics, we all have it in us. We are all emotional beings that want nurturing. And so reminding yourself of this and being so honest with yourself. If at work someone is tugging at your heartstrings, but you're not supposed to show that you still need to let it out. You know what I mean? You still need to process the emotion, or someone's making you feel bad. What do you do from there? You can't mute it. And if you do, that is when other things can arise in your body. You know, other things can arise around you. So important to not mute your emotions or ignore it or bury it under work, bury it under, because Cancer energy, there's this, I want nurturing and I want to feel really good about life. So there's other things you'll do to mask it or to make sure your household is good. You will ignore and just not see it. And so one thing I will say, when you mess with a Cancer, very dangerous. They can be some of the most cold-hearted people ever. Most cold-hearted ever. Because it's this thing where they're like, no one cares about me, no one this. So they just turn their heart off. That's the other side. If you're not tending to your emotions and understanding what you need, that is when you can flip a script and flip a switch and become someone that you are not, or you are. And it's just this toxic ego filled side of you that you may not even know where it came from. I've had that. The minute I heard that after about 6 years on and off dating a man that I was with from like, because it was so on and off, but we were in, like, that was the one that I've said in a past video, like the toxic relationships, identified toxic relationships video I have. I went into detail, so you'll hear more about that. But I found out that he cheated on me, and the way I found out shocked me. And the girl gave me so much graphic detail about how he would spend holidays with her, the lies he was telling me, my goodness. And I blacked out, and instead of tending to my emotions and really feeling the feels, I showed up where he was at and I started hitting him. And I didn't know that I had that in me. And I was like, whoa, you can't put your hands on a man. But I started to do it, and I would do it too often, especially when alcohol was in my system. I approached him and I thought I was getting ready to talk, but I blanked out and I just whacked him. And I was like, why, Davielle? Oh my gosh. And I was mortified. But I did that, and I put my hands on him, and I was just like, oh no, this is not a good start to anything. You know what I mean? And till this day, I wish I did not do that. However, I learned a lot. You know what I mean? Putting hands on a man multiple times is not okay. But that was when my emotions, I felt like no one wanted to hear me. I talked and talked and talked myself out, and he would lie to me about different things. He lied to me about drugs and all that, weed. He was, he was someone that smoked every day. I never smoked with him, not once, because I didn't care for that, but I accepted him for him. And I was just like, that's what you do. That's what you do. But he was selling it, and I didn't know. He lied to me about that. When he cheated, oh, it was too much. It was too much. I was like, I can't do this. And I didn't know that I was a fighter. I didn't even fight in school. Okay. Like, I wasn't that person. Me and my sister, when we would drink and stuff, that's a whole different story. I will be telling y'all about it. But yeah, with him, I blacked out. And so be careful of the ways that you are suppressing and holding in true emotions, because you can become someone that you're not. You can start to align with things that don't align, and you can start to really mute the truth in you because you don't want to face it. And that can make you go down a really bad path. But when you are aligned with it, that's when everything else can make sense. That's when you can be honest about what really fulfills you. The type of vacations you love. Is it the party, yay, go, go, go things? Or is it being by the beach, relaxing and not drinking? Like, I don't drink anymore. And that was something I really relied on at one point. And so me getting to know me, I understood this is not good. And I should have realized that a long time ago, because drinking was never, ever good for me, truly. But that's besides the point. So yeah, this one's a deep one because it affects all of us so much. And I just want to hug every single person watching this video, because I know you're an emotional being. No matter how much you want to claim that you're not, you are. Even if it's not with the typical things, it could be in your mind that you are the most emotional, but outwardly you're callous and no one can even think that you're sad, but you constantly are thinking of sad things, watching sad things, consuming subconsciously. That's 12th house. If you have Cancer 12th house, subconsciously consuming sad stories and all that. It's like you thrive off of the sad, the hurt, or if you have, I don't know, Cancer 5th house, your creativity. If you're a singer or a writer, it's sad, deep, hurtful songs can matter to you and really tap in. Or it can be really connected things. You want to talk about really deep topics, and it's not just surface level. Yay, like you want to get deep. Cancer energy wants to get deep. Okay. And so keep that in mind. There's so much more that I'm not hitting about Cancer, but I do want to keep this video a little condensed, but I will be talking so much more about this sign on my page. So definitely stick around if you'd like. I've also talked about many signs before this. I've talked about Gemini, Aries, Cancer, So check those videos out too, because they apply to you. They do. You have all 12 signs. Learning to work with the energies of each sign is so crucial. So please do check those videos out. But yeah, that's what I have for you. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, support your girl, and if not, that is okay. Thank you anyway for your presence. I appreciate you making it this far. Okay, I will see you on the next one.